Well, Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. It is Tuesday evening, the 18th of November. That's a week before my birthday. It is too. My goodness, it is. How did that happen? Well, it just happens once a year, of course. Everyone gets to share that, don't they? Speaking of sharing, let's go and have a look at some screens, shall we, and see what's going on around the place. Actually, we should start with Forex Factory, I think. And the calendar, let's see what's going on around the place. Not a whole lot this week, to be fair, certainly compared to last week and the week before, where we had fireworks all over the place. And yet we still don't know, well, we know the outcome of the presidential election, but we don't know who. No. Shh. Right, we're about 14 minutes away from retail sales coming out of the States. And then we're about 4 hours and 15 minutes, is that right? No, 45 minutes away from Powell speaking, which is probably the highlight event of the day. And I will gladly sleep through all of that process, whatever that may be. Will it move the market? Maybe. Maybe it does. Depends on what he has to say, of course. I really don't know, and we shall only know, well, I will only know when I wake up in the morning, if it had any effect on the market at all. Speaking of which, what has had an effect on the market today? Now, I'm going to rely on other people today. Of course, Ash not with us, it's his day off. But I'm going to rely on other people today to tell me what this new virus news has done to a company called Moderna. Now, you would have heard Ash, of course, and Shukri, perhaps, and various other people, Fad, etc., talking about Moderna over the last, probably few weeks. Now, was it last week, Monday? Does anybody recall that? Where we had some pretty big moves in the market, and a company called Pfizer, a little unknown drug, a very well-known drug company in the States, released the news that, was it last week? Or was it week before? I can't remember now. Released the news that their particular drug or vaccine, if you want to call it that, I guess that's what the world will call it, was 90% effective against coronavirus. Now, that was very interesting, and the market seemed to go into an absolute frenzy over that. Not so much, well, I don't know, I guess Pfizer stocks went up. I don't even look at stocks, but you can draw the conclusion that the market just went into a complete risk on scenario, and we've seen that play out in the last week or so. Of course, the President-elect Biden may have something to do with that as well. I'm not going to speculate on that, but what is interesting to me today is the news that this Moderna company came out and stated that their virus vaccine was 94.5% effective against coronavirus. Surprise, surprise. I'm stunned at such news. I wonder if Pfizer had have stated that their vaccine, my volume dropped. I don't know why. Hang on, I'll have a look at, how is it now? I'll have a look at my control panel and see if I can change anything. You might as well hear what I've got to say if you're bothered to tune in. Hang on a second, I'll see if I can whip my volume up just a little bit without talking louder, of course. There are people asleep in my house. Interesting. I don't have access to my control panel. Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys, just 2 secs. So I might as well try and fix this if it's possible. Okay. I see the master volume is way down. Don't know if that helps. 1, 2, 3. Let me go into the microphone. All good now? Excellent. Thank you, Mike. All right. So I was talking about Moderna, right? And Moderna, I only heard of Moderna like a few days ago, I think, when I was was I paying attention to what a few of you guys were talking about in regards to that company? And of course, as I said, now they've released the information that their coronavirus vaccine is 94.5% effective. And me being the absolute believer of all things that are said in the press, not, find that just a little bit curious. And pardon me, I wonder, as I was about to say, if Pfizer had have said that their virus was 83% positive or effective against coronavirus last week or the week before, whether Moderna would have said, well, we're 89.7% positive against coronavirus. Am I a skeptic or a conspiracy theorist? What am I? Where does that put me in the wonderful world of news events? I really don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, I'll just continue to sit in the background and not really. I shouldn't comment on these things, should I? Because I enter a whole new concept which may not be palatable to anybody who's trying to trade those sorts of things. So if anybody's trading Moderna at the moment, they might like to tell me how the market has reacted to that news today, or if it was today. I think I heard it today. I certainly read it today. We also had what's he called himself? The UK's chief Brexit negotiator. I think that's his title. Mr. Frost. He's come out and stated that there will be a deal, on a Brexit deal, on not on the table, but a Brexit deal will be signed, sealed, and delivered as early as next week, or in fact, in his words, early next week. I note with interest, and I'm not spending too much time on the Forex Factory. You can all read that, and I'm sure you've read it anyway. What sort of effect has that had on things like the pound? Well, you would have to say that we started the day in a bullish mode. We had a retracement to the daily pivot and the weekly pivot, and we've since, I won't say exploded, but we've gone fairly rapidly to the high side. Nice for the breakout trade today, and that was a winner. But I've got a sell stop on this particular currency pair. Look, I don't expect that that's going to trigger anytime soon, I'd have to say. In fact, I'm considering very, very seriously whether I should actually close this order. But whilst ever we're below this low or lower high here, then I think I'll keep that in check. Although the interesting news from Mr. Frost certainly does, I guess, add a little bit of flavour to that. What else is going on around the place? Well, we've mentioned Moderna. We've mentioned the UK or the European. What do they call it? How could I forget? Brexit. The Brexit situation may resolve itself next week. You would think the market would react positively to that if it is indeed news and not fake news. So that's the kind of scenario that I take into today's trading, and certainly as we go into the US session. So I've probably got to be a little bit circumspect on the pound here, and that order that I've got short underneath this bar here may well have to come off. But as I said, I'm going to leave it in until this high is broken. Beautiful reward to risk available in this trade. And if you haven't heard me talk about it, it is simply playing bounce off the top of the range and a lower high. It's as simple as that. Okay, there's been a lot of price action go on since, and that's certainly very true. And there's more than a hint of an ascending channel there as well. That is quite evident. And that just adds to my my bias, which means that we've come off the bottom, off the top, off the bottom to the top, and now we're seeking that lower high, which I thought might have been that candle there. It's not always the case, of course, that you get that right or the timing correct, but the good part about most of those, and why I like to trade the white candles, white-bodied candles, is because if momentum is indeed to the high side, then we shouldn't be taken into the bad trade. And that at the moment is or appears to be the case on pound US dollar. We'll see, of course, how that pans out down the track. When would I cancel this? Yes, when that high is, when I've got to close, primarily on a 4-hour chart. But we'll see what happens on the smaller time frames as the day goes on. The 4-hour chart, of course, at the moment is looking a little bit bullish, as I pointed out earlier, with perhaps a reaction to that news that suggests the Brexit situation will resolve itself next week or early next week. So on that basis, you would probably be thinking the pound is going to be strong on that news. I would have to agree with that. But that said, I'm not a fundamental trader. My technical analysis still tells me that we're due for a lower high coming back into that descending channel. But more than that, on the, pardon me, on the bigger picture, as a bounce off the top of this range that, of course, we've been traveling in, if we go back to the weekly chart, since October 2016. So the range has form. You know, it's not to be, in my humble opinion, denied in any way, shape or form. And you can see every time we try and get above this 133-ish level, a little bit above there, we bounce off it. And not only do we bounce off it, we bounce off it with aggression. And we come back to the bottom, top, bottom, top. Why would I not be expecting the bottom? Of course I'm expecting the bottom. So that's why I've got that little order in place. Now, those of you who've just joined us, the order is underneath that bar there. So I'm actually trading that bar there, the stop loss of which has now been invalidated, perhaps. I'll continue to monitor that. And if this candle today, or if today's candle looks very, very similar to that, and indeed closes inside this candle, then I'll keep the stop loss where it is. If, however, it closes above that candle, or the high of that candle, the one that I'm trading, then I will look to change that position. And maybe, depends on the shape of the candle. If it looks like that, then I may even, if it looks like that, it's going to close within the bar. If it looks like it does now and closes above the bar, I'll have to just have a little bit of a rethink and see if there's probably a better entry available than that daily chart. Other things I'm interested in, you already know that I'm in dollar Swissy short. I've now taken profit on dollar Swissy and moved my stop loss to a safe place. This is a little bit iffy, and the reason it's a bit iffy is primarily because of, okay, where's that gone? I'm looking for the dollar index and it appears to have gone. That's weird. Okay, I'll see if I can locate that a little bit later. It's got to be somewhere. There it is. Okay, so yeah, look, this is a really interesting position where the dollar index is, and it's going to my mind, shape the way I look to trade, certainly against the US dollar, and does shape the way I trade in terms of versus the US dollar. You can see pretty clearly that, well, clearly that it's not clear. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. We're at the bottom of a range, in my humble opinion, that is best depicted by this scenario. And this scenario, I spoke about this yesterday, where we've got, pardon me, I'm now on a monthly chart, right? We've got a few things going on here. The first of which, we are held up at the trend line, which of course is probably the primary trend line. Let me just go a little bit wider. Yeah, it's arguable, isn't it? Is this the primary trend line, or is that the primary trend line? I probably have to go with that, right? So let's call it the second primary trend line. I'll call it that. It's important is the message I'm trying to get across. And there's also a horizontal level coming through here, which is around about the 92.60 mark as I've got it. Now, we've broken that, retested that, but we're having a little bit of ping pong going on in here inside these trend lines. This one here, to my mind, is more than interesting because it underlines or gives a big tick to the horizontal level. And it's a lovely confluence because both have been broken and retested. So that confluence there of horizontal and trend line is, to my mind, even tradable. I believe it's tradable. And if I had dollar index on my what do they call those things, brokers chart, then I would be trading that right now. And even if not on the monthly chart, I'd then have a good look at the weekly, and the weekly's pretty much telling me the same story with this bar here. This bar here is known as a Kerr reversal bar. Now, I know it's in the middle of a range, or actually it's coming off the top of the range, but a key reversal bar is something that I pay a lot of attention to. And then I look at what happens next, the very next bar on the weekly chart. Okay, whilst by definition it isn't an inside bar, by gee, it's pretty close. The low is a little bit lower than the key reversal bar. But it's definitely a potential A, B, C trade. Again, in my humble opinion, that is, monthly chart looks to be a trade short. Weekly chart looks to be a trade short. What does the daily chart tell me? Well, not a whole lot really, but not a whole lot different. But same as always with the slingshot scenario, I'm looking for price to come to a trade line, bounce off it, come to a trade line, bounce off it. And here we are again. I don't like this quick succession, I must say. But that there is a tradable scenario. Again, A, B, C. Am I willing to take that risk? I don't have to because I don't have a dollar index to trade on my charts. But if you transfer that to something like dollar Swissy or euro dollar, then you'll find exactly why I have the position that I certainly do have on dollar Swissy. But I've actually gone against that on euro dollar because I'm short euro dollar, but that may change. Again, I'm trading a simple a chart pattern, which is looking for a lower high once we've come back inside or off the top of the range, which of course is here. But there's more to it than that. And the more to it is this. Yes, the old DXY again. G'day, Shukri. How you doing, mate? I'll give you some power in a minute. I want to talk to you about something. If you haven't got it already. Right, there's more to this story. And Ash pointed this out when I was chatting about it yesterday. We have one little, two little, three little Indians. They're my one little, two little, three little Indians anyway. They're also part of a head and shoulders pattern, of which the neckline is pretty clear going through there. Since we broke that neckline, we've gone into a range. Yes, we have, but we have also gone 1, 2, 3 little Indians. Now, why is that significant? Well, it's significant to me because I don't even know, and I haven't looked at 3 little Indians as a chart pattern for 100 years. So it may not be relevant to what the textbook says, but it is relevant to me. So every time I see 3 little Indians, which essentially is this, it's a false break number 1, false break number 2, false break number 3 of a resistance level, which is generally a horizontal level, and they are getting higher and higher and higher. But every single one of them is a false break false break, false break. And then lo and behold, we get the lower high, we get the break of the range, which is exactly the system that I use, right? So when I see 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians, I'm expecting that this level will break. Now, I don't expect it goes too far because that's just a quirk of the pattern. It breaks to the low side. Now, whether this is a liquidity grab or whatever it is, I don't know. I've never really gone further than to say that if I'm in a range and I get 3 false breaks that are ever ascending or going the other way, ever descending, then I know that the break is going to occur on the other side. So that's my theory anyway, right? And I'll stick to it. So I'm expecting that this will break to the low side. That's why I'm trying to get in up here, right? So it is against my bias because my bias is long euro dollar based on the dollar index, right? But that doesn't discount this. You can't just then go, okay, this doesn't exist. It exists, and I see it very clearly. Didn't quite get to the bottom there, but certainly we got to the top here again. Now, what will change this? Well, if we get a 4th little Indian, I suppose it will change. So this level, if this level gets taken out, then I go back to the drawing board and look for another chart pattern. But at the moment, what I see is still the 3 little Indians, and that's why I'm looking to trade that little lower high scenario. Now, it's not there yet, or it's certainly not there as a, pardon me, hasn't triggered yet, but that's what I'm looking for. So that's euro dollar taken care of. Now, Shukri, good day, buddy.
Good day, good day.
How you doing, mate?
It's a good day always in crypto land.
Never ever bad, huh?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say that, would you?
We're going back up, so that's good. Everything is going up.
Right. Now, the reason I wanted to bring you on here at the moment is I noticed, and I know you trade across everything, right? Or you've got your mind across everything. Moderna today has come out and said that their vaccine is 94.5% effective against coronavirus. Yes?
Yep.
You across that news?
Yep.
Okay. Question number 1, what's that done to its stock price? And question number 2 is, do you think if Pfizer had have said their vaccine is 75% effective, that Moderna would have said, well, ours is 80%?
Yeah, I think this is just a classic case of selling the news, because Pfizer had already come out of it, and everyone knows the news. And I think Pfizer already said that life will go back to normal by end of 2021, which is good. So yeah, it got dumped, right? But there was a gap yesterday. It hasn't filled the gap yet, so there might be more selling. I see the Nasdaq and all the markets are going today, but I see that more as a seasonal thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that it's due to go up not on Tuesday next week, Jeff. It's due to start going up on Monday. That's the 5th trading day before the end of November, so it's Monday.
When you say it, you mean
S&P?
S&P?
Yeah, S&P and all the indices. So I think a dump now or a slight correction into the weekend is normal. So that's to be expected anyway.
Okay, so my effort of reading the news about Moderna doesn't mean a thing. Eh? load of bullshit. So why do I waste my time?
It's behaving like it should. It's behaving like it should. So we're supposed to get a down on the S&P, maybe an up on Friday, but definitely on Monday, because the trade on Monday, which is 5 days before the end of November, if you keep it for 3 days, it's the best. But that trade has been working 100% of the time for the past 22 years.
100%.
Yes, and there was another trade that this Mr. Williams gave. I think that was before the Memorial Day, and he said that was
Hang on. You don't get away that quick. 100% is
100%
it's S&P long on Monday. Is that right?
on Monday. Yes.
That's not the third Monday. Is it the third Monday? No.
Monday.
The fourth Monday. Did the third one win last week?
Third Monday was win, and we'll go afterwards. I'll show you the thing, how he did it. And third Monday was supposed to be positive, and voila, it was positive. But the 100% trade on the S&P, I know. Okay, this is the second one. I know the other one exists on Memorial Day. When was Memorial Day? May?
Right? Can't remember, mate.
Yeah, so, it's not an Aussie holiday, Geoff. This is all of the American holidays. Memorial Day, Thanksgiving.
I don't have holidays anyway. I work every day, so it doesn't matter. So what is the occasion? Why the fourth Monday?
The fifth Monday before the end of November, because on Thursday next week is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. And of course, so everyone's happy, right? It's Thanksgiving. And then on Friday, of course, next weekend, which I'm waiting for too, is Black Friday sale.
Right. What's that do for you?
I get to buy cheap software.
That's it, right?
The TradingView. I get to upgrade for cheap.
Oh, okay. How much do we have to pay for TradingView next week?
I will tell you. I will tell you on that Friday. It usually lasts until Monday.
Okay, cool. We'll keep our eye out for that.
Yeah.
All right. So very brief. We haven't got much time left in this segment, but cryptos.
Oh,
still going to the moon, buddy, or what?
Still going to the moon, but now that okay, you're an FX guy, right?
Only, yes.
Now, do you know that the managing director of Citibank is an FX guy? He headed the Forex division.
I have heard that, yes.
Forex technical analyst.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume he's very, very good in terms of Forex and in terms of the business because, he's technically good. Take a guess. What price? So he did an analysis of Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
What his target is by December 2021?
2021, 50K.
Okay, that's good. That Geoff, you're following the traditional things that I follow, which gives 50 to 70. Okay, so he did something. I haven't read it through, but he did the cycle and he gave a target of 318,000. 318. I repeat.
Simon's all over it. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with your. I know. I thought there was something wrong with my computer. That can't be right. No, okay, guys. There's nothing wrong with your sound here. 318. And if you cannot remember that, just imagine a BMW 3 Series 318. That changes right. Everything. That changes the game, and that changes how we trade.
Now he hasn't done that. No, you just said, and you correctly said, he's a member of the. I can't even remember the name of the organisation, but it's the worldwide membership of technical analysts, right?
Yes.
We've got a few people in the organisation who are also members of that. I know Ainsley's one. Mm-hmm. I believe Julian would probably be one as well. Anyway. That's not technical. How can that be technical?
He actually did a technical. I'll show you the diagram. He did a wave count. Because the good thing about Bitcoin is, it has something like a cot, because the data is always there, so you can see where all the Bitcoin is. I mean, we don't know, Geoff. You might be the Bitcoin billionaire. We have no idea. But we can go through a wallet or many different wallets and see where all the Bitcoins are and how they're moving. So that gives a good caught thing. And from there, and when you put in seasonals there, you can basically draw a chart of how Bitcoin will behave. So it has distinct patterns.
Okay, so you're going to show me very shortly how that works, right?
Because I have no idea how that works too. I didn't know how you get 318, man. Like, wow.
Well, technically, I can't see how that's even possible because we've never been above 20, right? So
yeah.
How does that work? You multiply by a factor of 9
No, I think what he did was he also put in,
and add
I think
20.
it's very clever. He put in some factor of fundamental. He was also doing fundamental. He's assuming that, because of this COVID thing, the government will continue to print money. And to be fair, we didn't.
Again, how is that technical?
Because when you print money, the spike will get much longer. So what happened is this: when you look at the Bitcoin traditionalist that doesn't consider money printing, okay, the cycle here is supposed to be 1/4 of the past cycle. That's how it works. So at 1/4 of the past cycle, the high will be 70,000, 50 to 70. That's all you get. But I think he's saying that because governments are printing money, you guys haven't considered this, because he seems to be the most smartest guy in the world now. You guys haven't considered this, which is true. The spikes are going to go even more drastically up. I think there's logical to that. If you look at the chart pattern, it's the same as all we have. It looks the same.
So, okay, we'll have a bit more chat about that. But before we go,
where the dollar index is going now, but I mean the dollar index, if that happens, the dollar index is going to be super duper crushed.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised about that, but a lot of people that I've spoken to in the last week or so disagree with me wholeheartedly. It's going long according to them. Anyway, that's neither here nor there at the moment. From Roy, a question from Roy. So next Monday, we're going to buy the S&P. How do we do that? You just buy it at market, and where do you put your stop?
We'll look at the webinar afterwards, and we'll tell Roy tomorrow. Yeah, there is a stop there, based on that. Yeah, he did recommend a stop there. There is a stop loss. So
all right, so you're not going to tell us now?
No, I can't play.
It's a secret.
We'll play it for you.
All right.
He just recommend a 3-day hold. Okay, so just sell it. If it's on a Monday, that means Thanksgiving is on a Thursday. Just sell it before Thanksgiving. The market's also open on Friday, so that's what it means.
Okay, cool. Thanks, mate. We'll call it quits there for the open session, and we'll go into the private session right now. See you later, guys, those of you who are in the YouTube show. Okay, Mike.